Ugh. What's up, y'all? I'm back with another video. Yeah, and since I wanted to make this I wanted it to make it a 250 special, but then when I'm looking back at my stuff, I'm already over 300. I'm like, God damn. So, thank y'all for that. So, now we're like sitting at almost 320, and that's insane. And I thank y'all for showing me so much love and support on these what ifs, because they do take me some time to do them. So anyway, I decided to make another what if, well, a new series. And for y'all, if y'all want to put y'all own suggestions of what ifs or your own stories with them in the comments, go ahead. I might give them a look, see if I would like them or not. And so yeah, because usually when I make what ifs, I like to combine things of anime that I like and make them into a what if. And so, I'm thinking about this one for a little minute. Ugh. So I decided to make this a New Year's special. Hold up. Nah, I'm back. Sorry about that. And so, yeah, I wanted to make this a New Year's special. And Happy New Year's Eve to y'all. And god damn, they're going wild outside. Anyway, let me start off this with it. As you can tell from the thumbnail, you already tell which animes that I'm going to be combining and turning into a what if story. So yeah, I'm started off. So Minato and Kushina are currently looking with narrow eyes at a young Naruto, who was currently looking at his sailing book with emotionless eyes. Hold up. Sorry about that. Had to do something. This kind of things happens a lot, so much lately, so much that Naruto just wanted to leave with the first occasion, but had to wait. Wait until his future father and mother created some new ID papers for him. Naruto, why don't you ever recognize your faults? Asked Kushina, who was getting increasingly annoyed. And Naruto's twin sister, the holder of the Nine Tails, I'm gonna call her Ran. Yeah, Ran. Who often claimed that Naruto was doing pranks, even though he sometimes was too far away for it actually to happen. So of course, since the little girl would clearly never do such things, they would never ask her about it. Once Naruto was actually on the other side of the village when it happened. And while he didn't get scolded about it, she was just told it was impossible. So yeah, she ain't really getting any trouble for it. I don't have the vaguest idea what you're talking about, Kushina, he said with no emotion. Something only years of training would do to you. So they didn't really care about Naruto saying their first names, even though it was a bit unexpected to them. Naruto had long since stopped calling them by anything other than their names. Never hmm never mom or dad. Yeah. The boy had less credibility in the village, so usually he would get quite beat up. He'd get his licks, but he'd get his licks back. But anyway, stood uncaring. And so, yeah, he had to learn his abilities from someone else. Yeah. And so Minato, he was getting more annoyed with Naruto's expressionless talk more than anything. He was 100% sure that the boy shouldn't be able to have such a voice. He didn't see any deception in the boy's eyes, and he was the Hokage. He never could, actually. Never once since those things started happening did the boy look like he was lying. It didn't make sense. Jiraiya once told him that it was actually Ren doing it all, but he beat the Sani for making such claims and mentioning that it wasn't a possibility. And he haven't really seen his sensei since then. And although many had told him the same thing, he just told him to fuck off. Simple. He was very sad for doing so, as he lost quite a bit of respect from everyone in Ninja Corps. The boy, meanwhile, gained a lot of respect from the Anbu and had high chances of becoming a root if it had still existed. But he knew the boy seemed to have other plans, which five hmm, which 5-year-old kids shouldn't really have. After another half an hour of shouting from Kushina and deadpans from Naruto, he decided to put security seals around the house so that he could see who was doing it. So the next day, he brought Naruto and Kushina to the TV, which he connected to the seals. Ren had accused Naruto again, and he was sure he couldn't say no if he saw himself in the security records. Naruto had a knowing look in his eyes and a smirk on his face that made Minato twitch a little bit. It was like the boy knew something, but it's like he knew something that they didn't. When they looked back at the recordings, they were shocked. It was Ren doing it all along, apparently. And so, Kushina immediately going to Ren's side, saying that Naruto must have edited the footage, making Minato and Naruto facepalm, since it was impossible for even Jiraiya to do that. But Naruto, however, frowned his eyes into anger, and he threw the scroll at Minato before shun sending away. I know I'm not saying it right. Shun shinning? Whatever. Wait. Shun shinning? I didn't even teach Ren even halfway that much, and I never actually trained Naruto. Thought Minato before he remembered the scroll in his hands opening it. And he almost fainted. And Naruto left a little note. I hereby disown myself as the clan heir of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clan. As the article 742 about clans written by the non-dame, I think that's what we call them, allows me to never make claims or rights that I came from it. And as long as I never use moves only allowed in the clan, which I swear under oath I don't know, I can no longer receive orders from the clan head and his subordinates. Sincerely, Naruto. And I'm just going to say for extra measures, the last part was written in blood so that it couldn't be faked, which when Kushina read this, she was so shocked to even faint. She just froze there. And at that moment, Ren ran into the room with a brush in her hand, shouted, "Mom, Naruto painted the wall yellow." And Minato, he sweat dropped more than humanly possible as he just looked at her and said, "Ren, you're holding a yellow brush in your right hand, right?" The girl went bright red, trying to come up with an excuse before her father gave her a look that promised that you about to get your ass whooped, and she shut up. And he decided it was time to give her the treatment that she well deserved. Beat that, you know what? I can't really say that because, YouTube. Let's just say cries could be heard across the village and outside the village. And yeah, when kids do bad, things happen. And so, about 2 miles the distance stood three people, out which wore Konoha headbands. Anyone in the elemental countries could recognize all three. However, one didn't wear a headband was Naruto, who was a Namikaze 2 minutes ago, and the other were around 25 and wore special Jonin jackets, clothes. Yeah, except for the older man who wore a black cloak over his uniform. The two adults were two of the most powerful Konoha, the most powerful ninjas Konoha ever had, on par with Kakashi, Jiraiya, Minato, Kushina, Kirito, and Asuna. Yeah, I think that would be like a good title for this video. What if Naruto was adopted by Kirito and Asuna? So yeah, Naruto looked at his new parents with barely hidden excitement. 2 days ago, they shown him the thing called the interface that allowed them to control reality and gave it to him. So he could learn a few jutsus. He also was given a short but unbelievable explanation about how his life was a video game and they were game masters, or GM for short. They were technically the ones who they increased his skills and changed the battle he took however they wanted to. Dang, they going crazy. Anyway, they could make him dead last, Rookie of the Year, or even Hokage in 2 minutes. Man, this trippy. I'm about to make this man go freaking crazy. So yeah, they decided to adopt him and make him a GM. So when they had to leave for the real world, he could take care of the games with his older sister, Yun. I think that's how you say her name. He also had a smaller sister who currently, too, I would give her an age. Name Yuki. Yeah. And so they apparently, the real world moves slower than this one, but they still needed to go out of the game sometimes so their real bodies could, you know, get their essential needs like getting something to eat, taking a bath, you know. So 1 year in here was like a day outside. So yeah, I'm doing it like a hyperbolic time chamber type thing. There are more GMs scattered who Naruto would meet, such as an animal summoner called Silica and Leafa, who was Kirito's sister. Yeah. And after a short happy reunion, they left the Yuki mansion. Yeah, they got a mansion. He had to admit it was bigger than the one before. But then again, since all the GMs resigned here, it was more necessary for space, and have unlimited money helped a lot. So, Naruto entered the mansion and he spotted a woman about Kirito's age with blonde hair that was in a ponytail. He figured this was Leafa, and he had to admit she didn't look anything like Kirito. She was, doing some dishes, which surprised him, seeing as their GM powers allowed them to press the clean button and it will be over. Leafa also recognized him. He was the protagonist after all. It wasn't that hard to, especially when, he looked like her academy student Minato. So, Kirito, Asuna, Leafa, Yun, Elizabeth, Sinon, Gil, and Alice. Yeah. And let's say uh hmm what's the dude name? Uh Hold up. Jiro. I don't know why that was so fucking hard to say. And they had all been sent to help. But Alice and uh Yujiro, I have to get used to the name. It's been a minute since I've seen Alicization. But anyway, they had to leave because, they needed to go back to her world that moved faster than the real one. And, a Gil only came from time to time as a hobby while the others just were around doing mission. And, Elizabeth worked at her ninja shop, which she just sold weapons there, kind of like how 1010 did in Boruto. And so, Sennon, she was at hunting in. Leafa, Kirito, and Asuna were joning while Uni, I think, Uni, but she was shooting. Alice had been beginning when she left, and they made it so as she died, along with Yujiro. A Gale couldn't stay, so they never actually had to do much, and he came to mess up some people from time to time, but don't ever spot him because that boy got like crazy stealth on him. And Naruto snicker a bit. This is going to be this is going to be so fun, he thought. And so, I'm going to time skip a bit. About, let's give it 3 years. Yeah. The academy was crowded, but it was easy to spot the important people from the orange hair individual. Naruto, had used the interface to change his eyes and his hair to look like his parents. Looking around, he had noticed the ones he was going to slowly upgrade over the next few years, to become the best ever. Shikamaru was talking to Choji. Ina was bragging about how good she looked compared to other girls. Sasuke was taking note of everyone. Shino was, chilling by himself. Hinata was talking to Ren. Kiba, chilling with Akamaru about some other stuff that he didn't care about. And so, he sighed and he looked at their stats. And he had planned what he was going to do first. He had to get everyone's weaknesses out as much as possible, so that he had to lower Shikamaru's laziness and add to his stamina. Same about Choji. Sasuke, he was okay. He was well balanced. And he wanted to train him to be to be at least tuning level before he graduated. Kiba maybe after he lowered his and Ino's pride maybe, and give Hinata a confidence boost, and was going to be a Hyuga genius like Neji. And so yeah, he was going to increase everyone's tolerance towards Aruka. And Ren was the wild card out of the whole thing. He wanted, he decided to get a little bit of revenge on her by making her the dead last in the class. And then and to get her on his team. Yeah, this gonna be fun. I got some plans for her. Anyway, he had the Gending teams planned out already. And so, I'm just gonna make it to where, Ino, Shikamaru, Choji is the same. Shino, Hinata, and Kiba. Yeah. Kiba, Hinata, and Shino was the same thing. And he got Sasuke and Ren on this team. The second best and the dead last. Yeah. And of course, Aruka had decided to enter the classroom. At that point, he decided to jumpstart his genjutsu skill to 100 to make one where it seemed he actually heard everything and even responded. Yeah. And so he frowned at everyone's stats. Well, he looked at their attributes. He increased Sasuke's speed and power, toned it up a bit. The girl's chakra reserves and control, you know, the girls, can know how females in Naruto just already seem to have better chakra than dudes. Probably because, they girls and they got more control. Maybe. I guess. So, he tightened up they increased their reserves and, increased their control over it. And so, he increased Kiba's speed and intelligence and lowered his cockiness quite a bit. And, Shino's power and speed. Shikamaru and Choji got a stamina and speed boost. And he didn't waver Ren's stats in the slightest. That, yeah. I'm gonna ruin this chick. Anyway, it was when the taijutsu spar from the first day came that, he was kind of happy. He paired with Sasuke, who was staring at him strangely, which was normal seeing that he wore a cloak to hide his face, just like when they cleared the first floor in Aincraft. The spar was, created to decide how far the kids were, and also about test their speed and strengths. And Sasuke, he entered a weird stance, something he probably saw on, let's say, Crunchyroll and tried to copy it. He, however, entered a stance of let's say it was the Aincraft style, which relied on, speed and a lot of movements. And so, he with his hands was like his father held two swords, one in front of him and one near and one near his head. Yeah. So yeah. Sasuke, he charged at him with a punch prepared, but for him it was ultra slow, like really slow. Like Naruto's looking at him like, bro, what the fuck is you doing? You about to embarrass yourself. So he sidestepped it and hit him in his stomach with his knee and spun out and spun and took his legs from the ground with his feet before hitting him with in with the back of his forearm to his stomach, sending him down onto the floor. And that shit fucking hurt. And Sasuke, he gasping in pain where he was hit at, not believing anyone can actually punch you that fast, or kick you, I should say. His father had always told him that, Chihas were the best, just like Itachi. And so, that kind of boosts his pride a bit. And here is Naruto, he shut that down immediately. Yet, here he was getting, his ass ragdolled, getting beat all over, cuts all over, kick, punch, uppercut, grabbing, jutsu, just getting absolutely cooked. And he got beat so bad that he swore that he was going to ask his parents about this when he got home. I have to know who he is first, he thought grammously. But, he was saved by the projector. Winner, Naruto Yuki, the man shouted angrily, having expected the Uchiha. No, he didn't expect anyone to get. No, he said, like, not in an angry voice, but in a kind of, hurry up, stop the match before you kill him voice. And so, that sounded a little bit angry. And, he didn't expect anyone to take that big of a ass whooping, especially in the first fight. And so, he saw the others do their own fights, although only 1 minute passed, and had to say their performances were too good. Most were average, and the others were above average, but not a single one under. How could this be possible? Could they all be prodigies? He thought, until he looked at the fight and it looked quite a lot like the one before. And this one was between Ren and Hinata. Oh yeah, I'm gonna let Hinata beat the shit. Okay, let me stop. Hinata got angry because of something Ren said, and and it was currently closing. Said, let's just say Ren got that ass beat. Yeah. And meanwhile, he was always fed the silver spoon until that incident 3 years ago, was getting herself into a situation to where, yeah, let's just say this fight ain't really go in her favor. Let's just say Hinata gave her just, what? Let's just say Hinata gave her that special treatment. So yeah, overkill was a bit too soft a word for her for what she did to Ren. And Naruto had to admit he was pretty proud of what he did with his job. And so, the grades were in, Naruto number 1, Sasuke, I'll say number 2, and Hinata 3rd, Choji 4th, Kiba 5th, Shikamaru, no, Shino, yeah, was he got a pretty decent score. Shikamaru, an 8, even though he could have put a little bit more effort into it, but it's Shikamaru. And Ino, she got a pretty decent score. But that girl with taijutsu skills, since when? And ah, Ren, the last, dead last. The last one shocked everyone present. Sure, she got that ass beat by Hinata, who was completely beat that ass, but the last, lowest, and she supposed to be the Hokage's daughter? What the hell? That meant her strength, speed were civilian level at best. And let's just say an 8-year-old who likes to train with small weights could beat her. On the other hand, Ino and let's just say Shikamaru shocked them further, since those two clans had rusty taijutsus and just stick with their clan special techniques. Shikamaru with the shadow possession and with the, what was it? Mind transfer. And so, the Yuki didn't really just surprise him at all that much, being the son of two who finished with a 10. But, then again, same about the Namikaze. You know, Kirito and Minato had some, let's say they had some pretty good battles. Let's say it's up there with like Madara and Hashirama levels of legendary battery. To think one of them had a better offspring, well, adopted, but better offspring than the other was pretty strange. Especially with Asuna and Kushina being the best kunoichis around. Then they remembered, to their anger, how Dane treated her daughter. Yeah, she deserved a lower. And so, the next thing they did was give the kids a lecture about what it means to be a ninja and unlock their chakra coils of those who needed it to be unlocked for them. Everyone's eyes were on Naruto. Not that anyone could notice the color of his hair. It's just, he was the best of the best. Yet, seemed to want more. Even Itachi didn't really have skills of this kid. The best shinobi and kunoichi of the academy. Hold up. Alright, sorry about that. The best, shinobi kunoichi of the academy records were Itachi and, Yuni. Yeah. So things seemed to make, some sense at least. Everyone had been sent home after that. Some were sad, but one certain person was salty the most, and that person was Ren. She had made a fool of herself and had recognized that. Next to their other hairs, she was, her other peoples, she was weak. I'm talking soccer weak, but even she got her stats boosted more than she did. So yeah, she was scared of what would happen if he got put on, the same team with her. Yeah, not a pretty sight. And so, Sasuke, still pissed off about the ass whooping he got, he ran like a freaking, ran faster than freaking Minato trying to save Obito, wanting to know about the Yuki family since he had read that during his father's exam, the Yuki were also there. And, when he arrived, After he gave a short explanation of what happened, his father raised one question. Who defeated you? Sasuke responded shortly. Naruto Yuki. The moment, the absolute moment, the name Yuki was said, the three of them just had funny expressions on their face. And Mikato started to dream about the times when she was a guinea and kept murmuring that about loud redheads and a scary orange heads. And Fugaku struck himself Fugaku stuck himself on the ceiling, tree walking, too scared to freaking hold up. Sorry about that. I was talking with my sister. And so, Fugaku was scared to come down to the ground. And, Itachi found the floor very interesting. Even though it may have had to do something with the fact that, he was blushing. At the Yuki. Not Naruto. Freaking yaoi weirdos. Anyway, Sasuke was starting to, he was a little bit startled by their reactions. Especially since he found himself, a bit left out. He got his explanation soon enough, courtesy of a fellow Uchiha who happened to come to deliver the mail. Fugaku was beaten into, half an inch of his life by Naruto's father, Kirito. And, Mikado, Kushina Uzumaki, Asuna Yuki, and Hinata's mom were all, good friends during the beginning, the beginning upcoming. And, let's just say Itachi had a bit of a crush on Uni. And, as soon as he finished, he was attacked by an angry Itachi and had to run away. Hold up. Sorry about that. Anyway, Sasuke just fainted. Which, through a few coincidence, was the same thing Naruto found himself fainted after hearing the same thing with the other way around Uni. I need to learn her name. And, Rin was currently getting encouraged by her not so mad at the least parents, saying that, you'll do better next time, you'll do better next time, go, you try again, try to succeed, the more failures you have in life, you'll get it, just, this parent speech to try to make you feel less sad about your short upcomings. And, Minato was shocked to find out that Naruto was adopted by his best friend. That's not really the best thing in the world, losing your son to your best friend. And, Kushina, however, just thanked Hagoromo up there. It had been Asuna and not some mad woman. Or, worse. No one at all. And so, yeah. I think I'm going to end it right there. That's a good point to end it on. And so, yeah. Hope you guys have a good new year. And let's celebrate 2021. And hopefully this year will get a little better than last year. But hey, until next time, I'm out. Peace.